Live from Rick Stotler Field at the FW Owen Sports Complex on the campus of Florida Tech, it's Florida Tech Panther Women's Lacrosse as the Panthers host the Tampa Spartans on the Florida Tech Digital Network. And a pleasant good evening, everyone. Jerry Durney here with you on the Florida Tech Digital Network as we get ready. The Panthers have officially hit the teeth of their schedule as they go into Sunshine State Conference play, and they'll be tested right away here against the number 7 team in the country in the Tampa Spartans. Let's give you the starting lineups tonight. First, for the Tampa Spartans under the guidance of head coach Kelly Gallagher. In goal tonight, it'll be the senior from San Diego, Alex Walling. They'll go with 4 in defense, and that'll be led by Holliston Wagner, Danny Waters, and Aaron Sistek. And they'll be joined as well by Alyssa Romano. The 3 in the midfield will be Cece Colombo, and she's a dangerous one, along with Allie Peebles, as well as Emma McLaughlin. They'll go with 4 in attack, led by Lizzie Pierpont, joined as well by Gia Colombo, Olivia Mott, and Sarah Hinkle. This is a very good Tampa team. They were among the best in the SSC last year. They are among the best in the country this year. They are no joke. And the Panthers know full well how good the Spartans can be. They remember how this meeting went last year over in Tampa. Let's give you the starting lineup for Florida Tech. There are a couple of changes tonight. Rachel Johnson will not be available due to an illness. She is with the team, but she will not play this evening. And Charlotte Hardy is likely done for the regular season. She had been playing with a foot ailment for the past couple of weeks, went to get an MRI earlier this week. That foot is broken, so she will likely to miss the rest of the regular season and maybe into the SSC tournament as well. Of course, never say never, and of course we're going to hope for the best for Charlotte, but it'll be tough from here. But at least for the next couple of weeks, the Panthers are going to have to manage without their all-action midfielder. Emily Harris will be in goal tonight for Florida Tech. The 4 in defense will be Kaylee O'Brien, along with Maggie Reed, Brooke Albert, and Mackenzie Smith. The 3 in the midfield will be Millie Hurt, Lizzie Christ, and Jenny Boyle. In attack, taking Rachel Johnson's spot will be Gab Skaronski. Other than that, the usual trio of Carly Nero, Jillian Craig, and Kayla Minton. Florida Tech are 8-2 on the year, and they have won each of their last 6. This will be a true test for this team. Talking with Mackenzie Rafferty before the game, she said this is going to be a good test of where we are, how strong we can be, a test of our strengths. You know, she talks about emphasizing their strengths. So this is going to be a true test tonight. Well, we're going to find out just how good they can be, and even while it is a bit shorthanded. It's time for the national anthem, so we'll step aside, and then it's time for the opening draw here on FloridaTechSports.com. And there you have it, our national anthem here from Rick Stotler Field. Tampa wearing their road red with the black lettering and numbering with the dash of white. Florida Tech wearing their usual home gray with the crimson lettering and numbering and a dash of black. Give you the officiating crew for this evening. Get that for you in just a moment as we get ready to go. This will be a big one. 9th all-time meeting between these two teams. It's just the 3rd in Melbourne. Florida Tech holding a 5-3 lead in this series. However, the Spartans have won each of the last three, including an absolute washing last year in Tampa, 20-4. The Panthers have not beaten Tampa since April 27th, 2018, and that was the 2018 SSC semifinals. Which I stand correct. This is only the third ever meeting here. There's only been 3 meetings here in Melbourne. Tech winning in 2017, 19-13. Tampa won here in 2019, 11-6. And the last time these two teams played in Melbourne back in April 21, which the Spartans won 10-5. We are ready to go this evening. This has been one of those games that ever since Florida Tech got on the roll, you kind of thought, okay, how good can this team get? Well, we're going to find out. 7 of the 8 teams in this league are inside the top 30 in the country. We'll find out pretty quickly just exactly where the Panthers stand. Tampa, of course, made the NCAA tournament last year, bowed out to Queens in the second round. Their motto this year is one more. Our officiating crew tonight, Jessica Borghoff, Xavier Ferguson, and Al Grimaldi. 79 degrees at the start tonight here in Melbourne. Wind out of the south at about 5 miles per hour, gusting to 10. There is a slight chance of rain throughout this one tonight. The wind will be out of the southwest, 10 to 15, could gust as high as 20. We will keep an eye on the radar throughout this one. Hopefully no weather. We would prefer it that way. We're glad you're with us. We'll see Chris to handle the draw controls, and that's going to be one of the many spots that Florida Tech will miss Charlotte Hardy there. Been excellent in that area. Here we go. Florida Tech will go left to right on your screen here in this first quarter. First ever meeting between these two here at Rick Stotler Field, which is now the full-time home for the Panthers. And the draw, it will be a violation against Christ, so it's a win there for CC Colombo. And Tampa will start the game in attack. Obama cross here for Gia Colombo, a graduate student from Waxhaw, North Carolina. Spartans working behind the net to start. They were trying to set something up on the streak on a cut inside. Instead, it was a misplaced pass, and it was picked up by Jenny Boyle, who plays it ahead for Carly Nero, up ahead on the left side. And that's going to be a whistle against Alyssa Romano. So Florida Tech with their first attack of the game. Panthers have done a great job in causing turnovers this year. They're going to need it. Mackenzie Rafferty talked about it to me before the game. Said, everything that we do well, we're going to have to do more of. That's a good start. Jenny Boyle from close range on the feed from Kayla Minton puts Florida Tech in front. Just 47 seconds in, it's 1-0 Florida Tech. Thanks to Jenny Boyle's 20th goal of the season. More than halfway to her total last year of 33. Big one there for Jenny Boyle, and that's a way to start a game. And for Kayla Minton, that's her 6th assist of the season. Jenny Boyle had 33 last year, make that 20 this year. Had 4 last week against Alabama Huntsville, and she's going to be one of the many players in attack. They're going to have to step up and fill the shoes left by Charlotte Hardy. That's a good start. It's Christ against CC Colombo. Lizzie, of course, crossing the 100 career draw control mark last week in the win over Alabama Huntsville. This is going to go into the Spartan end. Tampa trying to track it down. That rolled out of bounds, and it was last touched by the Spartans. An ideal start so far for Florida Tech. This is Craig. I'm going to buy some time as Chris comes off, and Sophia Ciccoloni will check in for the first time. And the list of players who have truly grown in stature this season, Lizzie Christ is right at the top of the list. They play middle for Nero. Nice little hesitation, able to get away from Romano for the moment. Nero looking to fire and simply lost possession, and it's going to be scooped up by Erin Sistek, graduate student from Whitehall, Maryland. Where they play, good distribution from the keeper, and that's Alex Walling, the senior from San Diego. Ahead on that right side, this is McLaughlin. Transfer from Jacksonville University. Gia Colombo. Over now for CC Colombo and playing on the left. They set up Allie Peebles. Defense provided here by Maggie Reed. They cut back into the middle. That's CC Colombo and a whistle I wonder if that's away from the play. It's going to be Cece Colombo to take. Senior from Waxhaw, North Carolina, like her sister. Both products of Charlotte Latin School, which is where Emily Harris went to high school as well. Colombo on the run-up, and a save made by Harris. Boy, Emily Harris's renaissance continues here in 2023. They go back to Colombo, trying to play in front, and they'll tie it up thanks to Lizzie Pierpont. Graduate student from Centennial, Colorado. Pierpont puts it home, and we're tied at the 12:44 mark of the first quarter. And for Pierpont, that is her 10th goal of the season. And that is now the 9th Spartan player this season in double figures. Panthers currently have 7. Carly Liebendorfer could join them for what would be the 8th. But this is a team that very clearly has the offensive firepower. And we've seen that throughout the year. Again, this is a very legitimate Tampa team that you have to treat with the utmost respect. No reason you shouldn't. They have been every bit as good as their ranking have said they are this year. They've lost 8-2 this year. On the draw here, it's going to go right into midfield, and that is going to be won by Alyssa Romano. Tampa quickly going to work in the offensive end. And that's something Florida Tech have done quite a bit of this year. They work over here for Pierpont. I go over to Peebles. Into the middle, and a chance to score here from McLaughlin who will fire, and I think Harris might have got screened on that. It's a good goal, and Tampa almost immediately, 2 goals in the space of 30 seconds, have taken a 2-1 lead. That's going to be a goal for McLaughlin. That is her 14th of the campaign. Sarah Hinkle will get the assist. That's her 4th. This is the first SSC game of the year and will be until Friday when Tampa takes on St. Leo. Nope. The Panthers didn't know by now. I think they've got the point very quickly just how good this team is. Panthers will win the draw here thanks to Carly Nero. She's going to be running with 2 defenders here, and I think she's going to bring this back behind the net just to try to buy some time and let her teammates catch up. She does. Skaronski and back into the center for Jillian Craig. Millie Hurt will join them. Tampa had 2 first-team all-conference players last year. Matter of fact, make it 3. Pierpont, one of them. Danny Waters was another one of them. And, of course, she's still here tonight. Madison Birch in the midfield was the other. She has since graduated. Mentioned Tampa, last couple of times they made the tournament, ran into Queens, who have since moved up to Division I. So the Spartans this year really feel like it's their time to really state their case as a national power, and why shouldn't they? They are at almost everything else. This will be Jenny Boyle from the edge of the 8 on a free position attempt here. 11:41 to go in the first quarter, and the clock stopped. It's Jenny Boyle against Alex Walling. She'll make the run up. On the bounce, goes low, and puts it home. And it's Tampa 2, Jenny Boyle 2, here in the early going with 11:36 to go in the first quarter as Jenny Boyle picks up her 21st of the season. And she's got a 30-point season. Jenny, of course, last year had 40 points, so we were pretty excited coming out of last year for all the young players Florida Tech had that performed well as freshmen and sophomores, Jenny being one of them as a transfer. And you thought, man, this was the first extended run Jenny had, and this is what she did with it. How much better is she going to get? Well, we're seeing it happen. 2-2 with 11:36 to play here in the first quarter. And they'll switch out on the draw here. This will be Sophie Risk, the junior from Baltimore, the transfer from the University of Maryland, going against Chris. So already they're going to switch on the draw, which tells you the amount of respect that the Spartans have for Lizzie. We await Al Grimaldi's signal. That's going to be flipped back toward the Panther end. Boyle giving chase. Took a shove from Romano, and good control by Jenny. Good, and I mean that physical control, being able to stay on her feet and win the draw. And the Panthers are into the Tampa end. Pass a little high for Nero, and I don't think Carly's going to get there. She won't. But if nothing else, the Panthers can at least have some time to get back and set themselves on defense. And, of course, when you have Carly there, she's going to provide the press herself. Does a great job of that, working against Romano. It's played over for Jenna Myhall, one of these Spartan substitutes. And on the left side is Pierpont. Maggie Reed will draw that assignment. Chris has the assignment behind the net. Can't quite see who. It goes back to Pierpont. Constant motion for this Spartan team. They're trying to set up Hinkle. Said they go back for Myhall, the freshman from Suffern, New York. This is Gia Colombo. Back over it goes for Myhall. Stays over. Brooke Albert will draw that assignment. 50 to shoot here, as Tampa really haven't had a shot yet here on the possession. This is Gia Colombo. Back it goes. And that's going to feel like a very tight whistle against Millie Hurt. It'll be a free position attempt here for Sarah Hinkle. The 5'6" junior out of Hudson, Ohio, will spread it from the top. There was contact, no doubt. I just didn't think that was going to be enough to draw the whistle. Hinkle on the run-up, puts it home. Going bottom left corner against Emily Harris. And the Spartans regain their lead 3-2 with 10:20 to go in the first quarter. For Sarah Hinkle, that is goal number 34 on the season. Hinkle was named second team all-conference last season, along with Cece Colombo and Erin Sistek. This will be a dogfight. In terms of All-Americans last year, Danny Waters made second team for the IWLCA. Madison Birch was third team for USA Lacrosse Magazine, and Danny Waters also made it honorable mention for USA Lacrosse Magazine. Everything you've heard about Tampa, they're as good as advertised. Two other games played today. Florida Southern, no trouble with Colorado Mesa, 24-12. Palm Beach Atlantic just pulling out a 14-13 victory at Young Harris. Panthers quickly on the move. It's Nero over to Skaronski. And back around we go. Gab feeding Boyle. Already sitting on a hat trick just 5 minutes in. Back to Shickaloni. Panthers are going to be counting on her even more with Hardy down, but Sophie has been everything they could have hoped she would have been as a freshman. Feeding for Minton, and a great save made by Walling. It was a good feed by Shickaloni. Minton did well to take that on the angle, and I'll tell you, if you give Kayla that look out of 10 times, she probably scores that 7. Walling up to the challenge there. Quickly running ahead, this is Gia Colombo trying to take it all the way, and a save made by Emily Harris, and the rebound goes to Millie Hurt. Tampa were your SSC regular season champions last year. They dropped the title game to Florida Southern. Overall went 11-8 and 6-1 in league play for losing in their first tournament game against Queens, as Jillian Craig trying to go high left against Walling as well, to no avail. Queens won that matchup 16-13. That's 2 times now that they've tried to beat Walling in the upper left corner, and she has been quick with the reflexes, so might need to adjust the in-game scouting report on that. Tampa execute the clearance and are in the offensive end in just 10 seconds. This is Gia Colombo, picked up by Boyle. Hinkle looking to draw the screen. They work over. This is McKelsey Montgomery, one of the Spartan reserves. Back over they go. Myhall, and a whistle. If it was away from the play or on who. And Florida Tech called for a foul with 8:23 remaining here in the first. And it'll be a free position opportunity for Tampa. This will be Hinkle, who's already had one today. On the run-up. And that's going to go off the body of Emily Harris. Great save and a great job by Emily. Just being able to throw herself in front of that, doing whatever was needed to be done to block the shot there from Risk. It's back to Risk now. That was who took the shot. And I can't believe I just saw that. That was an intended pass. They were looking for Pierpont. It went past her and instead found its way into the top of the net. And it's 4-2. That's going to be a goal for Risk. And, I mean, she'll say later that she meant to do that, but I know what I saw. For Risk, that is her 11th of the season for the junior from Baltimore. 4-2 now, and Tampa clearly flexing their muscle early on. He started off with a 19-4 win at Montevallo, then won at Alabama Huntsville 19-3. They beat Leakin Memorial 18-4. Beat second-ranked Adelphi 14-9. Georgian Court 22-7. They lost to defending national champion Indianapolis in Charlotte 12-11. Won at Wingate, who were number 12 at the time, 16-12. Lost at home to 6th-ranked Pace, 19-8. Beat 13th-ranked Mercy last week, 18-15. And on Tuesday, they beat Frostburg State, 17-6. Here's Christ against Risk at the draw. 8:01 remaining here in the first quarter. There's the signal and a violation. It's going to be against Tampa. So the Panthers will win the draw. Chris plays it for Boyle, and away we go. Chris comes off. Ciccolone will join the attack. Over it goes for Carly Nero, and she'll find Sophia streaking to her right. Marie's picking up well on this Saturday evening. Over for Ciccolone. That pass was errant. Craig's going to have to try to track that down. Or I should say the pass was for Craig. Sophia kept it in play, but in doing so, she had to hit that right to Danny Waters. And here come the Spartans. This is Pierpont. O'Brien will have to pick her up. Play behind the net, and I believe that's Georgia Glowacki. And that's a second goal for Hinkle, and it's 5-2 Spartans with 7:16 to go in the first quarter. So Risk will get the goal, I stand correct. That was not Hinkle. It's Risk's second. And got the assist from Romano. Tampa will switch out on the draw. It'll go back to CC Colombo here against Lizzie Christ. Panthers have won 5 of the 7 to this point. Sophie Risk was a freshman at Maryland in 2021, where they won the Big Ten tournament. Graduated from Catonsville High School, and I know the Panther men's program has recruited from there before. Tampa already in the attack. Waters returning for Tampa. It goes to Peebles. O'Brien has her. This is Gia Colombo. Work it around. Chance here for Tampa. This is McLaughlin. Picked up by, I believe that's Mackenzie Smith. And over it goes for Peebles. 49 to shoot here for Tampa. Panthers that have been able to burn half the possession here. This is Allie Peebles on the run. A little bit of contact there from O'Brien. It's CC Colombo. Christ has her. 30 to shoot for Tampa. This is a big defensive possession here for Florida Tech. They got to be able to stop the momentum here for the Spartans. Fighting her way through is McLaughlin. Play blown dead, and that'll be another free position opportunity for Tampa. Clock stopped with 6:02 to go here in the quarter. We'll look to see how that falls too. Harris has already made one stop on a free position this evening. On the run-up, and another save made there against McLaughlin. Well, Emily Harris has done a great job this evening in the net. And screened on a couple, but that's a couple free position saves now as that's going to be another one. That's against Mackenzie Smith, and it'll be Cece Colombo to draw it. Cece Colombo coming into tonight with 15 points. 13 of those are goals. Panthers need Emily Harris to step up once again, but Colombo will beat her, and it is now 6-2 Tampa with 5:43 to go in the first quarter as the Spartans have scored 4 unanswered. And Mackenzie Rafferty's going to take a timeout and try to stop the bleeding for her Panthers. We'll take it with them. 5:43 to go here in the first quarter. It's Tampa 6, Florida Tech 2. We'll be back in 60 seconds. This is Panther Women's Lacrosse on the Florida Tech Digital Network. Welcome back here on the Florida Tech Digital Network. 5:43 to go in the first quarter. Florida Tech have allowed 4 straight to Tampa after tying it. Spartans showing just how good they can be. They enter tonight as the number 7 team in the country. Well, you don't get that ranking by accident. Hey, greatness is intentional, and Tampa is showing that here in the early going. Draw goes into the Spartan end. It was initially picked up by Hinkle, but it was knocked loose. I don't even know necessarily you could say that Tampa have won it. It's still going to be rolling around, and Romano's the one who picks it up but has to retreat into her own end. And we do have a whistle away from the play, and I think that was a foul on Florida Tech. They'll restart it. Back over we go. Peebles. Tampa in scoring position almost immediately again. Running with it is Olivia Mott, senior out of Farmingdale, New York. And back now for Peebles. Jenny Boyle will pick her. Coming up on 5 minutes to play here in the first. And what's been a rough week for the Panthers, losing Charlotte Hardy and Mel Rachel Johnson tonight already was a daunting challenge. Back to Colombo. Spinning away is Emma McLaughlin. They play it behind the net with 40 to shoot. They'll keep moving. Here's Cece Colombo with a little shot fake. Cutting inside against Chris. The lane closes thanks to Millie Hurd. 30 to shoot here for the Spartans. And back behind the net, here's Colombo. Away from Chris, Kaylee O'Brien will pick her up. And back out with 20 to shoot. This is McLaughlin trying to shake Mackenzie Smith. Tried to cut to the near post. It wasn't there. Pass fumbled by Colombo. There's going to be 10 on the shot clock here. And running back around here is Gia Colombo. 7 to shoot. It goes to Cece Colombo in the middle. Contact between her and Chris. And she simply threw that away. The way she stopped there, I thought there had been a whistle blown. She simply just threw that out of bounds. A big stop for Florida Tech, forcing the shot clock violation with 3:50 to go here in the first quarter. Spartans, however, applying pressure as the Panthers try to get out of their own end. Over it goes for Brooke Albert. And now Kaylee O'Brien. O'Brien through midfield. And past a couple of Spartan defenders, and now Skaronski. Looks like she'll bring it around the net, and she'll go through the screen set by Minton. Skaronski might try the wraparound. Thought about it, still has it, still on the run here. I don't even think she was looking to shoot. Plays it back over to Nero. Hey, it's been rare for Florida Tech to get this deep in the first quarter with just 2 goals, as Nero with the run-on goal and a save made by Walling. And I got to say, that's 3 saves that normally are finding the back of the net. Walling's been a big reason for the Spartan lead at the moment. She made 1 on Minton. She had 1 on Boyle, and now 1 there against Nero. Spartans this week actually moved up to number 4 in the country. I stand corrected. So I was actually selling them short. The Tampa had moved up to number 4 in the country. And the only teams ahead of them is they will tack on a 7th. And scoring there will be Sophie Risk. She has got a first quarter hat trick. And that just tells you how good this Tampa team is, that not even one of the primary goal scorers has a first quarter hat trick. Her 13th of the year, and it's 7-2 Tampa. The only teams ahead of the Spartans in the new IWLCA poll are Westchester, Florida Southern, and Indianapolis. And we mentioned Indy, one of the 2 teams to beat them. They're also the reigning national champions. And Risk will take the draw here for the Spartans against Christ. We await the signal from Xavier Ferguson, who will handle the draw here. And that will find the stick pocket of Jenna Myhall. Another draw control win for Tampa. And they're now even in that department. It's 5-5. And they are already in a prime scoring position, and another whistle against Florida Tech. That is the 7th foul. Tampa has committed just 1. And a chance to make this a 6-goal game. On the run-up and right into the stick pocket of Emily Harris. Hey, you can't really put this first quarter on Emily. That's her 4th save already. Kaylee O'Brien will be the one to bring it up. And that'll be a whistle against Tampa, as Florida Tech will just start from the edge of the Spartan area. They play it into the center for Boyle. She gets past Myhall. Jenny on the run looking for the hat trick. Hey, Panthers have not had a lot of looks. I mean, they do have the 2 goals, but the other opportunities, they've had 5 shots in total. 2 have found the back of the net. The other 3 have found Walling's stick, and that's maybe the biggest difference right now. Most other nights, this is probably 7-5 right now or 7-4. Inside the final minute of the first quarter. Ciccolone on the run, and there's a whistle, and that'll stop the clock with 53.2 seconds remaining. Ciccolone from the right here against Alex Walling. And plays back over to Craig. There's 10 on the shot clock here for Florida Tech. They got to make something happen. 5 to shoot. Ciccolone's still way out from goal. She's just going to have to bomb this. And that window's not going to come. And the Spartans force a shot clock violation. Both teams have done so here in the first quarter. And that will likely be the Panthers' final opportunity of the frame. Panthers force a turnover. This is Skaronski trying to make the run all by herself, and another save made by Walling. I think that one she might have got with the stick shaft. That one never even found the stick pocket. She just simply had to get a stick on it. Inside the final 10 seconds of the quarter, it's Kayla Minton cutting in from the left. With 5, she'll fire. That had a bounce, and I think Walling redirected that as well, as the clock will run out in the first quarter. And through 15 minutes, the Panthers very clearly have a scope of what they're going to be up against this evening against one of the nation's best. We've played one quarter here at Rick Stotler Field. It's Tampa 7, Florida Tech 2. We'll take a 2-minute break, and then we'll be back with the second quarter. You're watching Panther Women's Lacrosse on the Florida Tech Digital Network.
We're joined by Kellen Lucchese from Panther Women's Lacrosse. Kellen, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So what's your major at Florida Tech, and why did you choose it? Is it something you've always wanted to do?
I'm a computer engineer at Florida Tech, and it's not something that I've always wanted to do, but my sophomore year in high school, I got the opportunity to take a computer science class, and I found out that I'm actually a little interested also in the hardware along with coding, and so I kind of went right in the middle with computer engineering.
Growing up in Charlotte, what was it about Florida Tech that drew you here?
Growing up in Charlotte, I had a weird connection with D2 schools because I live about 15 minutes from the Queen's University. So they weren't really on my radar at first, but figuring out that I wanted a STEM major and that I did want to play lacrosse in college, Florida Tech was instantly on my radar as a school with very strong STEM programs and also a strong women's team.
How do you plan to use your degree after graduation?
So after graduation, I'm not really sure. I know I have enough time to figure out what I'm going to do because I'm only a sophomore this year, but I guess if I'd had to say a field, I'd want to at least be in the business of helping people.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to hear. What are some of the exciting projects that you've worked on in your classes?
At the end of last year and the beginning of this year, I had a lot of fun in my computer design lab. We just worked with Arduinos, which was very interesting, especially with being new to C++ as of last year. So it was really interesting to kind of figure out how that works and work with those.
Between the busy schedule that you guys have in the spring, all the practices and the road trips, how do you keep everything balanced once the season starts?
Well, it was definitely about finding a balance. And sometimes I didn't have that, that's for sure. But it was really about writing down my schedule and figuring out what I had in a week. And I'm very lucky to have friends in my major that I was able to do a lot of my work with to keep me on track. But it's really just about knowing what you have to do and figuring out when to get it done.
How has being a college athlete prepared you for what you're doing now? And do you feel like there's any lessons that you've learned from lacrosse that apply to your studies?
Yes, absolutely. I think definitely on the field, learning to, I guess, take a hit and roll with the punches in a way is something that you definitely have to do.
Welcome back here on the Florida Tech Digital Network. Jerry Durney here with you as we get ready for the second quarter. Florida Tech trailing Tampa 7-2. Look at those first quarter stats. Spartans outshot the Panthers 12-7, 11-6 in terms of shots on goal. Both Alex Walling and Emily Harris with 4 saves. The draw controls even at 5. The Panthers committed 7 fouls. A lot of them leading to free position opportunities. Spartans committed 4. Tampa 2 for 6 on the free position. Florida Tech 1 for 1. Panthers 4 for 4 on clearances. Tampa 6 for 7. Florida Tech turned it over 3 times, 1 caused by the Spartans. Tampa turned it over twice, 1 caused by Florida Tech. So there you have your first quarter stats. We are ready to go. We talk about the depth of this league. 7 of the 8 teams are in the top 30. Florida Tech receiving votes this week. St. Leo is 18th, Embry-Riddle 17th, Lynn 14th, Rollins 9th, Tampa 4th, Florida Southern 2nd. There are 4 teams that make the conference tournament. That means there's going to be 3 really good teams, 3 top 30 teams that aren't even going to make the SSC tournament. Tampa winning the draw control there as the Panthers will be going right to left on your screen here in the second quarter. For Florida Tech, they've got to find a way back from here. And a whistle against Florida Tech, and I believe we have a shot clock reset, I think was what I saw. As Lizzie Chris comes off. No, it's going to be a foul against Tampa. Anyway, in terms of goalie stats, Alex Walling came into tonight with a .464 save percentage. That was good for 5th in the SSC. She also makes 6.5 saves per game. That's good for 3rd in the SSC. And I really think is the difference between this game being as close as possible and it being a 5-goal margin right now, because all 4 saves were great opportunities for Florida Tech. Caroline Finn with her first action of the night plays it over for Kayla Minton over here on the near left side to us. Pass was too high for Millie Hurt, and instead that is going to, I believe that was Romano, but the pass was too long, and it does find Hinkle. Alyssa Romano, the junior from Ocean City, Maryland. Hinkle with it here. Going to be met by Nero and Skoronsky, and now that was Reed. She gets it over to Romano. I stand corrected, not Romano. That is, might be Glowacki. .60 on the shot clock here for Tampa. Colombo playing it over for McLaughlin. Met by Millie Hurt, and that's knocked away temporarily by Boyle. McLaughlin able to run it down. Halfway through the possession here for Florida Tech. Gia Colombo playing it over for Pierpont. Lost possession, got it back. 35 to shoot here for Tampa, making the run, and the stop made by Emily Harris on the shot by Peebles. Graduate from UMass. Tampa do recover, and they'll get a fresh 60. On the run here, this is Gia Colombo trying to shake Lizzie Christ, and she does. She'll fire, and she got the shot away, but there's going to be a foul, I think, on Christ. And that'll be a free position opportunity here for Tampa, where they have cashed in twice already. Gia Colombo here against Emily Harris, who's made 2 saves already. Colombo will put it home, and it is 8-2 Spartans with 12:44 to go in the second quarter. Gia Colombo, the older of the 2, graduate student from Waxhaw, North Carolina, transfer from Lenore Rhine, also a product of Charlotte Latin School. Chris will handle the draw here. And that'll be it'll be Gia's younger sister, Cece. Both of them have had quite the careers and have been the foundation of how good this Tampa program can be. Whistle against Florida Tech. I believe that's going to be on Nero. Kelly Gallagher in her 9th season at Tampa. She has been the only one in charge. She was named head coach in October 2012. She has previous coaching stints at Limestone and then also had a 4-year stint at the Division I level with Detroit Mercy. Spartans have reached the NCAA tournament twice under Gallagher. Both times they've been knocked out by Queens. They did so, lost by a goal in 2019 at home against Queens, and then last year up in Charlotte, lost 16-13. However, the good news for the Spartans is the Royals have since moved up to Division I. .30 on the shot clock here with Boyle providing the defense behind the net. This will find Peebles. Chris providing plenty of defense here. I believe that is Pierpont. Inside 20 on the shot clock. Getting dispossessed was Peebles. Inside 10. Making the run and firing and scoring will be CC Colombo. And it is now a 9-2 Spartan lead. It's a 7-0 UT run. And this game getting away from Florida Tech. CC Colombo, one of the best in the nation. Again, second team all-conference last year. First team all-conference in 2021. She was all-region as well that year. Started all 7 games in 2020 as a freshman. And for CC Colombo, that's her second of the night. And she's now got 15 goals on the season. Now, to add to her total, she now has 66 career goals. And in terms of assists tonight, Colombo also has 1, so she's had a 3-point game. So CC with 120 career points. Tell you what, those sisters have really helped elevate Tampa, who, the first 3 years of this program, when the Sunshine State Conference started back in 2015, Tampa were kind of near the bottom of the standings for the first 3 years, and it's really no coincidence that the uptick in their play kind of started when they got here. And they've really become a force in this league. There's the draw back underway, and it looks like Myhall going against Christ, and that's going to be a whistle against Lizzie Christ. Checking in for Tampa will be McKelsey Montgomery, the sophomore from Hainesport, New Jersey. And it appears like Florida Tech just right now do not have any answers for the strength of this Tampa team. This is Montgomery playing over on the left side. And we'll play it to Pierpont. The graduate student out of Centennial, Colorado. Pierpont providing the screen and running left to right. That'll be Olivia Mott back behind the net and trying for the low shot there was Risk, who was looking to make it 4 here in the first half. Pierpont was the one who gathered the rebound. They play it back over to Gia Colombo. 10-10 remaining here in the half. On the run is Gia Colombo. To be met, I believe, is that Millie Hurd? It is. Colombo trying to shake her. Fires. The shot's high. Tampa will play it back. They had people back there to cover. Kaylee O'Brien providing the defense. Colombo. Brooke Albert is there. A little bit of hesitation getting by Albert and firing, and a great body save made by Emily Harris. I think she just simply threw herself in front of that. Spartans get the rebound again, though. I feel like that's the 4th or 5th time tonight they've been able to do that. 50 to shoot here for the Spartans on the reset. Yeah, it feels like I don't think Florida Tech have really had an attack this whole quarter, and we're almost 6 minutes in. And it's a whistle against Florida Tech as, again, just the fouls have piled up. Florida Tech have already now been called for 11, and we're not at halftime yet. And this just kind of feels like the reverse of every game we've seen lately from Tech. Clock stopped with 8:55 left. Montgomery lost it, got it back, and a whistle again against Florida Tech. It'll be McKelsey Montgomery to take. Montgomery on the run-up, and that'll beat Harris 5-hole. And the Spartans have a 10 spot in the first half. McKelsey Montgomery, not even one of the starters, has one for Tampa as Montgomery puts it home for her 6th of the season. And it is 10-2 Tampa with 8:45 before the intermission. Kelly Gallagher, by the way, the 2018 SSE Coach of the Year. You've had 3 All-Americans, CeCe Colombo being one of those in 2021. Claire Swanson won the 2019 SSE Player of the Year. And they do well in the classroom, too. They have received an IWLCA Team Academic Award 4 times under Kelly Gallagher. Was actually named the SSE Coach of the Year twice, in 2018 and 19. And that followed the 2 that Corinne DeRogers won in 2016 and 2017. She also worked as I should say she was an assistant at Detroit Mercy before becoming the head coach at Limestone. He competed at Washington College in Chestertown, Maryland for 4 years. As here comes Risk looking for her 4th, and she'll beat Harris up high. And it is 11-2, and the Spartans have 4 here in the second quarter. I mean, it feels like Florida Tech have hardly had the ball. We have not seen it look like this for Florida Tech really since the Flagler game on opening night. Even in the loss against Lincoln Memorial, they more than held their own in that game and had a chance to win. Right now, for Florida Tech, things there just haven't been any answers. Seemingly, ever since it was 2-2, Tampa just seemingly put their foot down and said, that's enough. And now they'll have Emma Angelo here on the draw. We've seen her get a few runs there this year and maybe just trying to shake things up. As Angelo got tripped up, and I'm waiting for the whistle to get called there, and it is against Risk, although Emma a little slow getting up. Hopefully she's all right. That's the last thing the Panthers needed. In terms of draw controls per game, CeCe Colombo top 6 in the conference with 39. Lizzie Christ was 3rd at 46. Nero over for Phoebe Hurt. First time we see her this evening. Phoebe, over it goes to Angelo. Putting it on the left side, we've seen Emma put home a few goals this year. It finds Minton. Minton working against Myhall, trying to wrap around here on the near post. The shot wide. I don't think Walling knew a lot about it. And it was Minton being guarded on that play by Erin McLaughlin. So 2 pairs of sisters on this team. Emma is a senior, and Erin is a sophomore. They're both from Bohemia, New York. Emma, the transfer from Jacksonville University, and Tampa moving quickly. They're looking for a 12th. Here's Gia Colombo. Running with it here is Riley McGettigan. Using the screen. And that was Pierpont. Risk. And they got a woman cutting in there. I think they were looking for McGettigan. And it'll be Florida Tech ball. Haley O'Brien will come off as Emma Angelo will replace her. And I think they were just looking to make sure that Emma was all right. 6:45 remaining here in the first half. Spartans in the midst of a 9-0 run. Emily Harris looking to distribute, but there's really nothing open. Over it goes to Reed, and the pass was errant, and it's going to find the stick pocket of Danny Waters. She's going to make the run herself, and this could be another opportunity here, and it is. And Tampa have 12, and that will start the running clock as Gia Colombo puts it home. And with 6:18 to go here in the first half, it is 12-2 Tampa, and that will start the running clock. And so the running clock will stay on unless the officials signal otherwise or we have a timeout as Gia Colombo puts that home. That's her second of the game. And for Gia, that is her 17th of the season. And this has just been a deflating first half for Florida Tech that feels almost emblematic of what's been a rough week. Losing Charlotte Hardy for at least the rest of the regular season. And also not having Rachel Johnson available tonight, certainly hurting as well. Should point out, by the way, there are 3 Columbos on this team. They have another younger sister, Gracie, who we have yet to see tonight. Tell you what, I'd love to see how the competitions go with the family reunions. Panthers working quickly in attack. Nero ahead for Carly Liebendorfer, getting her first action of the night. Pass 1 and pass 2, and it beat Walling, but not the post. Panthers did get the rebound, however. Nero over for Angelo. Here's Liebendorfer again. Or I should say Phoebe Hurt feeding for Kayla Minton, and a save made by Walling again. That is her 5th. And Tampa will win the possession. Gia last year appeared in 1 game before suffering a season-ending injury, had 4 points in that game. Her 1 year at Lenore Rhine, she was actually the South Atlantic Conference co-freshman of the year and was first-team all-conference. And not only do they have these 3 daughters playing here at Tampa, they also have a brother, AJ, who plays at Western Carolina. Again, the family reunion competitions have to be something serious. I can't even imagine. .356 and counting here in the second quarter. The run here is Emma McLaughlin getting away from Phoebe Hurt on the run, and that hit the post. I don't think Harris got to that. Tampa get the rebound again. And if there is such a thing as cleaning the glass, to steal a basketball term, Tampa are absolutely dominating on the offensive boards in that respect. That's about the 6th or 7th miss tonight that they've collected. This is Allie Peebles. Well, they were going to call that a penalty, but that did find a way through for the goal. That's going to be Cece Colombo, who's got the hat trick here in the first half. And it is 13-2 Spartans with 3:12 and counting here in the second quarter. You mentioned Kelly Gallagher, had a 4-year career at Washington College in Chestertown, Maryland. And started in attack at 2 seasons and was a captain her senior year. Graduate there in 2006. And they started in 2014. They went 7-10, then 5-11, 5-10 in 2016, 6-11 in 2017, then 12-16 in 2018. They won the SSC regular season title in 2014. They split a share of that. 6-1 in the COVID season of 2020. 7-3 in the conference-only season of 2021. And then we mentioned 11-8 last year, reaching the NCAA tournament again. And already an 8-2 start this year. Spartans working in a circle again as they have practically lived in the Panther end here in this second quarter. And almost removed any doubt. Any team can have a tough quarter, but Tampa really letting everybody know what the business was about as McLaughlin will put that home. It would have been a free possession attempt anyway. McLaughlin's got it in, and it is 14-2 Spartans here in the second quarter with 90 seconds remaining. McLaughlin will put that home. That is her second of the game and 15th of the season. And the Panthers right now are just shell-shocked. And that extends here to the broadcast booth. And I think for the people working down below me in the tent, I would bet they would agree to the same measure. This has just, you knew you were up against a quality opponent that are playing well. And against one of the only two teams that have beaten them this year are the number one team in the country. You knew this Tampa team was good. But you thought, that's what the way the last 6 games have gone and how well Florida Tech have played at times this season, they would have a chance to really compete with them and hang with them. And that has not unfolded. At least ever since 2-2. And add to it, the Spartans have scored 12 unanswered. Inside the final 30 seconds as Chris finds Nero. She'll make the run through into the area. Going to be picked up by C.C. Colombo, back to Liebendorfer. Thought about cutting left, and that lane got cut off immediately by McLaughlin. Inside 15. Minton going to try to work a way in here. No, I stand corrected. That's Angelo. She'll fire. The shot goes over the bar. It's going to be back behind and out of bounds. Tech are going to have to work quickly to get this back in. Inside 5. Minton will fire, and that did not go. Save made by Walling, who has been near perfect in this first half, and that would also describe how the Spartans' first 30 minutes went. We are at the break, and it is 14-2 in favor of Tampa. So we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll run one of our Scholar Athlete Spotlights that we did with the women's lacrosse players. We talked, of course, with Kellen Lucchese and Jenny Boyle. We'll step aside, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes, and then we'll be back for the third quarter. Your halftime score is Tampa 14, Florida Tech 2. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. This is Panther Women's Lacrosse on the Florida Tech Digital Network.
Many people that are different, like have different personality styles than me, and it helps me, work better with my classmates.
What advice would you give to an athlete coming to Florida Tech that might be interested in chemical engineering?
I would say get everything done as early as possible so you can have your junior and senior years kind of a lighter load, So if you were playing a sport, you could focus more on your sport then.
So what have you enjoyed the most about your time here at Florida Tech and with the women's lacrosse program?
My favorite part about Florida Tech and the women's lacrosse program is definitely the competitiveness of the program and the conference that we're in. Getting to play so many great teams in the SSC is awesome.
Here on this, what expectations do you have for yourself and for the team in the 2023 season?
So our biggest expectation is to be playing April 30th for our conference championship. So hopefully
We're joined by Kellen Lucchese from Panther Women's Lacrosse. Kellen, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So what's your major at Florida Tech and why did you choose it? Is it something you've always wanted to do?
I'm a computer engineer at Florida Tech, and it's not something that I've always wanted to do, but my sophomore year in high school, I got the opportunity to take a computer science class, and I found out that I'm actually a little interested also in the hardware along with coding, and so I kind of went right in the middle with computer engineering.
Growing up in Charlotte, what was it about Florida Tech that drew you here?
Growing up in Charlotte, I had a weird connection with D2 schools because I live about 15 minutes from Queen's University, so they weren't really on my radar at first, but figuring out that I wanted a STEM major and that I did want to play lacrosse in college, Florida Tech was instantly on my radar as a school with very strong STEM programs and also a strong women's team.
How do you plan to use your degree after graduation?
So after graduation, I'm not really sure. I know I have enough time to figure out what I'm going to do because I'm only a sophomore this year, but I guess if I'd had to say a field, I'd want to at least be in the business of helping people.
That's a good thing to hear. What are some of the exciting projects that you've worked on in your classes?
At the end of last year and the beginning of this year, I had a lot of fun in my computer design lab. We just worked with Arduinos, which was very interesting, especially with being new to C++ as of last year. So it was really interesting to kind of figure out how that works and work with those.
You know, between the busy schedule that you guys have in the spring, all the practices and the road trips, how do you keep everything balanced once the season starts?
Well, it was definitely about finding a balance. And sometimes I didn't have that, that's for sure. But it was really about writing down my schedule and figuring out what I had in a week. And I'm very lucky to have friends in my major that I was able to do a lot of my work with to keep me on track. But it's really just about knowing what you have to do and figuring out when to get it done.
How has being a college athlete prepared you for what you're doing now? And do you feel like there's any lessons that you've learned from lacrosse that apply to your studies?
Yes, absolutely. I think definitely on the field, learning to, I guess, take a hit and roll with the punches in a way is something that you definitely have to do in a difficult major, because getting back some test grades, it might not be your best work, but knowing that you can focus on the next one and just roll with it is definitely important.
What advice would you give to an athlete coming to Florida Tech that might have an interest in computer engineering?
If you're interested in computer engineering, it's definitely a smaller major, so just as a word of advice, definitely just be confident in yourself, because coming in, I definitely did not know a lot about what I was getting into, but sticking to what I knew and knowing that I can get things done if I just work hard and work to actually put in the time to learn something, I can succeed in any of the hard classes that I'm faced with.
What have you enjoyed the most about your time with the women's lacrosse program so far, and what expectations do you have for the 2023 season?
So far, I think I really enjoy that it feels like we're just all getting through it together. We're all here at a hard school with hard majors, and we're all on a tough team.
Welcome back from Rick Stotler Field here on the FW Owen Sports Complex on the campus of Florida Tech as we get ready to start the third quarter. It has been all Tampa to date. They have scored 12 unanswered, and it is a 14-2 Spartan lead as we get ready to start the third quarter. And the running clock will be on unless the Panthers get the margin back under 10. I'll look back at the first half stats. The Spartans outshot the Panthers 25-11. I'd love to see the quarter breakdown because Florida Tech might have had 2 attacks the whole quarter. It was 22-6 in terms of shots on goal. Emily Harris with 8 saves. Alex Walling with 4. Spartans won 10 of the 18 draw controls. Panthers were whistled for 14 fouls. Tampa were fouled for 6. Tampa have converted 4 of their 8 free position attempts. Panthers have converted their 1, and that was through Jenny Boyle, who has both of the Panther goals to this point. Tampa 9 of 10 on clearances. Florida Tech 5 for 7, so not bad by any means, but we talk about standards. You're seeing it unfold. Panthers with 6 turnovers. 2 of them were caused by Tampa. Spartans had 5 turnovers. 1 was caused by the Panthers. So they get the clock set and ready to go. And we mentioned Jenny Boyle with the 2 goals for Florida Tech in that first half. No assist. Cece Colombo had a 5-point first half, including a hat trick. Sophie Risk with a hat trick in the first half. Emma McLaughlin with 2 goals. Lizzie Pierpont with 2 goals. Sarah Hinkle with 2 goals and an assist. Gia Colombo with a goal. And McKelsey Montgomery with a goal as well. Well, I don't know how much you're able to pick up of the Spartan sideline to my left, but they have very clearly indicated they have that dog in them. They've done it quite a lot tonight. And I mean that metaphorically and literally speaking. They have the dog. This is Gracie Colombo getting some run here to start the third quarter. Florida Tech will go left to right on your screen here in the third. They're wearing their home grays. Tampa wearing their road red. Over it goes to Allie Peebles. This is McLaughlin. One of 2 sets of sisters on this team. You see Rick Stott, or I should say Andy Semenick Lesall Field behind us. The Panther baseball team victorious today. It was a wild game. It was 1-0 when the 6th inning started. It ended 9-2. As McLaughlin will go high against Harris and put it home. Emma McLaughlin has herself a hat trick. It is 15-2 Spartans as McLaughlin scores her 16th of the season. Yeah, it's been a tough day for Panther Athletics outside of baseball. Panther baseball did clinch the series win against Embry-Riddle. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow. Panther softball dropped a doubleheader in Daytona against Embry, and Panther men's lacrosse falling at St. Leo earlier today, 16-8. Panther men will have their conference home opener next Saturday. Christ at the draw circle, I believe that is CC Colombo. Millie Hurt going for it. It's in between Brooke Albert and Mackenzie Smith as well. There's a couple of Spartans there, and it'll be Kaylee O'Brien to win it. Haley on the run and leading the Panthers into their half for the first time in the third quarter. Working it over for Boyle. Christ will come off. Carly Liebendorfer will check in. It goes to Millie Hurt. On the leftover, it goes Boyle. Back now to Carly. They'll feed Gab Skaronski, who is taking Rachel Johnson's spot. Again, for if you're joining us late tonight, Rachel Johnson unavailable through illness. She is here with the team, just unable to play. And Charlotte Hardy done for likely at least the rest of the regular season with a foot issue that she had played through the last couple of weeks. Revealed it was broken, and hopefully the Panthers are able to make the SSC tournament, and we'll have her back then. But just a crushing blow, as Charlotte had been so good here in the early stages of 2023 in non-conference play. 12 goals, 5 assists, 25 draw controls, and 15 caused turnovers to go with 22 ground balls. And, to steal a soccer term, I mean, she really was an all-action midfielder. And you don't just replace that, but you can work through it. But it's going to take a lot of work as Boyle is fouled on the run in. And she'll be at the free position for the second time tonight. And that's going to be a card, I believe, against Alyssa Romano. A couple other Spartans coming off as well. I see O'Neill Gallinson as well as McLaughlin. And it's a 2-minute unreleasable penalty for Alyssa Romano. And Boyle will take the free position as the clock continues to run with 11:43 and counting here in the third quarter. Boyle on the run in here against Walling. And she beat Walling, but it hit the post. The rebound went to Maggie Reed, or I should say Liebendorfer. And plenty of contact there and nothing called on her shot. And Tampa will clear it. That's just how you know it's not the Panthers' night. Even the few times that they've been able to beat Walling, that still hit the post. Panthers trying to deal with the clearance here in their own end. Maggie Reed's with it. She'll get it ahead to Kylie Morris. Morris, one of the 5 honored on Senior Day last weekend. And a whistle as Boyle was on the way. Boyle will play it back in when we restart. Boyle going to be dispossessed. It's on the floor here. It's a battle between her and O'Neill Gallinson. And it'll be the call against Boyle. And there's an interception from Kaylee O'Brien. She'll make the run through over midfield and into the attack. Thought about feeding it for Jillian Craig. So bring it back out and let the Panthers go to work. Skaronski feeding Nero, and now Boyle. So that gets away from Jenny. If nothing else, the Panthers just need a goal for morale's sake here. And if you can get a goal and break the run here, maybe it give you some renewed confidence and some renewed energy to close out the remainder of this game. Nero back for Jillian Craig. Cutting in and making the run. I believe that's Millie Hurt. But the lane wasn't there. CC Colombo with a great job of defending. in trouble there. And Gab Skaronski, how in the world? Very well covered by two defenders. Walling was there too at the near post, and that somehow found a way through. Boy, that might be the best goal Gab Skaronski scores this year. That's her third. That breaks the 13-0 run by the Spartans. And that's Florida Tech's first goal since early in the first quarter at about the 10-minute mark. And it's 15-3 Tampa with 8:40 to go in the third. Well, I said they needed a goal for morale. But not only did they get a goal, they got a great one. I'm going to have to go back and watch that a few times tonight because I don't know how on earth Gab Skaronski scored that from there. Not from an exceptionally long distance, but she was very well covered by two defenders. And it wasn't as if Walling flailed at that. She was there. And that still found a way through. That'll be Risk handling the draw controls here against Christ on this one. Xavier Ferguson handling the administration. 7:55 and counting. Remember, the running clock continues unless Florida Tech can get the deficit inside 10. And that will be picked up by Riley McGettigan, the junior from Skippack, Pennsylvania. This goes to Pierpont. Mackenzie Smith will pick her up. Boy, Florida Tech just absolutely needed something like that. And now what are they going to do with it? They feed inside, and Pierpont hits the post. I don't know if Emily had anything to do with that, but it looked like it had beat her. Tampa again, and I would love to see how many times the Spartans have gotten a rebound off their own miss. That shot from Kelsey Montgomery went wide, but Tampa did have someone back. So they'll be able to keep possession. Here's the run here. This is McGettigan. Knocked away, dispossessed by O'Brien. It's still on the floor. Giving chase is Christ. Lizzie's still at it, now working against two separate Tampa players. It rolls into the middle, and that's going to be picked up by Millie Hurt. Job well done there by the Panther defense. And we'll see if they can maybe put together a couple in a row. And if nothing else, at least if you can show some fight back, it's, hey, look, you got hit by an avalanche, but you kept going. And I think that was something that Mackenzie Rafferty talked about the game is, regardless of whatever happens here tonight, we need to show that we can compete for all 60 minutes because I don't think we've always done that, even in the games that we've won. So if you can do that in a game where things didn't go well for you, but you just kept going, you would feel pretty good about that. 50 to shoot here for Florida Tech. This is Boyle. It's been the two former Manhattan Jaspers who have scored tonight, Boyle and Skaronski. Feed here looking for Carly Liebendorfer, and the pass was broken up. It's still on the floor there in front of the net. Finn had it for a moment, and I think Skaronski did for a minute. Now it's Millie Hurt. And a whistle, and there's a Panther down in front of the goal. The home crowd not happy, but there's a Panther down. Hey, which one is it? Michaela Massa will come out to take a look at the injured Panther, and I'm not sure who. Clock is stopped with 5:30 to play here in the third quarter. Clock is stopped with 5:30 to go, and Carly Nero limping off, and that is a very bad sign for Florida Tech. And that is her left leg that she is very much favoring, and this is, Boy, it would have just already been a rough week as is for the Panthers, losing Charlotte Hardy to injury. And Nero goes to the sideline and appears to be in a lot of pain. That is very worrisome news for Florida Tech. If they lose Carly Nero, who's been one of their most creative playmakers, that would be a huge blow to their prospects going forward. Jenny Boyle will play it back in. We'll wait for the official to wait on the restart with 5:30 to go in the third quarter. This is Craig running away from one, and Jillian Craig trying to make the run, and boy, a lot of contact there from Romano. No call. Panthers do keep the possession. I believe that is Boyle or that was Gab. Back over it goes for Boyle. Inside 10 on the shot clock. Boyle will make the run and got tripped on the way through, and there's going to be a whistle. And that'll be a free position shot for Florida Tech. And Jenny Boyle has a hat trick of goals this evening for Florida Tech. 2 on the free position. Jenny Boyle with her 3rd of the night, and that'll be a little consolation for Jenny, as she now has 22 on the season. She had 33 in 14 games in 2022. So this is game number 11 for Jenny this season. (15-4) your score here with 3:08 remaining in the third quarter. Over it goes to Gia Colombo. And this is Molly Shapiro getting away. Well, Kaylee was able to knock that away. And now that's going to roll over towards the sideline, and it's picked up by O'Brien. O'Brien on the run with it. And Kaylee continuing to work there in the midfield. Over it goes. This will be now Caroline Finn. Saw her get some first half action. Here's Emma Angelo. And I got to imagine with the score being what it is and how much time's left, we probably don't see Carly Nero again tonight. Hopefully it's just a scare. Over it goes, and this is Angelo. Angelo shaking off one defender here against Kayla Brennan. It's into the area. Boyle. And this is Craig. And an opportunity here is Finn denied by Walling again. And the rebound looks like it's going to fall to Tampa. And it's just a huge pile of bodies. And out of all of that, Jenny Boyle has it with 1:46 to go here in the third quarter. Angelo over for Skaronski. Trying to feed Kayla Minton, and that pass was deflected. I believe that was knocked away by Danny Waters. Reigning All-America, a graduate student from Smithtown, New York. Tampa might just try to run out the clock here in the third quarter with 1:13 remaining. And the running clock still on as they feed ahead here for Pierpont. Already with one tonight. Tampa looking to looking to restore their lead back to 13. This is Kayla Brennan, the junior from Baltimore. Tampa playing this from the top, and actually the game clock is lower than the shot clock, so they actually could simply run out the clock here if they choose to, or settle for the final shot. Pass, and I think that might have caught Pierpont right in the face. Or is that correct? No, that was Bryn Nestor. Fortunately, she's up. Opportunity there, and it's knocked away by Kylie Morris, and it's a whistle against Florida Tech, or inside the final 20 seconds. And this is going to be a free position opportunity here for Tampa if they get it off before the buzzer. As we await. On the run and firing, and that hit the post. I don't know if Harris got a hand to that, but that will end the third quarter as the Panthers get a pair back thanks to Skaronski and Boyle. At the end of the third quarter, it's Tampa 15, Florida Tech 4. We'll be back in 2 minutes. This is Panther Women's Lacrosse on the Florida Tech Digital Network.
That are different, like have different personality styles than me, and it helps me, work better with my classmates.
What advice would you give to an athlete coming to Florida Tech that might be interested in chemical engineering?
I would say get everything done as early as possible so you can have your junior and senior years kind of a lighter load. So if you were playing a sport, you could focus more on your sport then.
So what have you enjoyed the most about your time here at Florida Tech and with the women's lacrosse program?
My favorite part about Florida Tech and the women's lacrosse program is definitely the competitiveness of the program and the conference that we're in. Getting to play so many great teams in the SSC is awesome.
Here on this, what expectations do you have for yourself and for the team in the 2023 season?
So our biggest expectation is to be playing April 30th for our conference championship, so hopefully everything
Just over a minute here into the fourth quarter. We apologize for that. Florida Tech going right to left, and it'll be a free position opportunity here for Florida Tech to look to make it a 15-5 game here against Tampa. And on the run is Jillian Craig, and she'll put it home for what will be her first goal of the night, and that is her 20th of the season. The Panthers now have 4 separate 20-goal scorers this season. As Jillian Craig puts it home, that is her 4th on the season, or the 3rd from the free position spot. And that'll make it 15-5 in favor of Tampa. As the Panthers have scored 3 unanswered. If nothing else, at least this fourth quarter is a chance for Florida Tech to restore some pride here after being buried underneath the Spartan avalanche. And for Jillian Craig, a great first year here at Florida Tech after transferring back home, the Merritt Island product, from Presbyterian College in South Carolina. We mentioned Jillian Craig, the 4th Panther with 20 goals this year. Rachel Johnson with 26, Sophia Ciccoloni with 21. Jenny Boyle has 22 now after her hat trick tonight. And Jillian Craig joins her with 20. Kayla Minton will be next. She's one off the mark as well. Spartans going left to right. They're in their road red, working their way into the box, and that's going to be another whistle against Florida Tech. That is the 18th foul on the night. To be a scoring opportunity here. Looking on the run and putting it home. And that'll be Sarah Hinkle. I believe for Hinkle, that is a hat trick for Sarah. Puts it home to make it 16-5. And for Hinkle, that is her team leading 36th of the season. And it is now 16-5 with 11:40 to go. Hinkle, the junior from Hudson, Ohio, second team all-conference last year. Scored 49 goals last season. Scored 4 in 10 games in 2021. Two-time team captain in high school. Also helped her team reach the Final Four her sophomore year. You just see weapons everywhere for this Tampa team. And like I said, there are going to be 3 really good teams that do not even make the SSC tournament this year. I'd be shocked if Tampa was one of those. I mean, obviously, Florida Southern's always in the mix. This Tampa team very much is in the mix. It's going to be interesting to see who gets those last 2 spots. You have Tampa, Lynn, St. Leo, Embry-Riddle, and Florida Tech all competing for basically 2 spots. And for Florida Tech, you keep competing here tonight. You do what you can. Made some progress here in the third quarter, did a little better job in possessing the ball, which was almost non-existent in the second. And you keep doing what you do, and maybe get 3 or 4 more here before the night's over. And, as we hear in a lot of sports, burn the tape after this. I mean, you do have to learn. You have to figure out what went wrong from here, but you can't dwell too much on it. And you don't want this to kind of hang over you the rest of the way. Next Saturday, they will go to Daytona Beach to take on a very good Embry-Riddle team, who are currently ranked 17th in the country. These 2 teams played a very tight game here in Melbourne last season. Next time the Panthers will be home will be 2 weeks from today, and that'll be against 18th ranked St. Leo. And as a heads up, that'll be a 10 a.m. start. It'll be a very busy afternoon here at the Olin Sports Complex. 9.5 minutes to go. Mark behind. By the way, in between the Embry-Riddle and St. Leo games, they will go to Palm Beach Atlantic on Wednesday the 5th. Panthers have 2 more home games in conference play after this, as Hinkle puts it home for her 4th, and that'll make it 17-5 Spartans with 9:03 remaining. I'm looking down at the Panthers sideline just to keep an eye on things because Carly Nero went off midway through the third quarter and was very much favoring her knee. And that's going to be big. Again, remember, Charlotte Hardy already out and likely for the rest of the regular season. No Rachel Johnson tonight due to illness. Now, the good news is for Florida Tech is they'll have a week to get ready for Embry-Riddle. So hopefully by that point, you have Rachel back, and that'll be a big part of the team. But Carly Nero had provided so much for this team. 18 goals, 12 assists. That was your team leader in that category. And not only that, Carly had caused 11 turnovers and had 23 ground balls as well. So, I mentioned much like Charlotte Hardy, someone who is an all-action player, kind of involved in every part of the game. And losing Carly for any amount of time would be an enormous loss for this team. And a chance here for Tampa. Saw a player go down in the box. That was Gallinson. Panthers are able to recover it thanks to Mackenzie Smith, and away they go. And I do not see Carly Nero, but she could be in the dugout directly behind the bench. But what we find out about Carly Nero over the next week will be very important. You lose two players who are not only goal scorers, but also create as well. All right. There's teams that have depth, and the Panthers do have that. But to lose two players of that caliber, I don't care who you have. That's going to hurt. Boyle still fighting her way through. I do see the flag in the air from Xavier Ferguson, and there it is. That'll stop play with 6:53 to go. And that'll be a card against Tampa, and it looks like coming off is Aaron McLaughlin. We await the signal. And I stand corrected. That is going to be a check to the head against Riley McGettigan. We'll get the yellow card. So Boyle will take the free position attempt. Panthers are 3 for 4 on those tonight. Clock is stopped with 6:42 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Craig, over it goes for Angelo. All right, again, here's Kayla Minton with a chance to get her first of the night, and does. We mentioned Kayla Minton was sitting on 20 goals, and there it is. Kayla Minton with her 20th goal of the season, and it is 17-6 Tampa with 6:17 remaining. Emma Angelo will get credit for the assist there. That is Emma's third of the season, and it is 17-6 with 6 minutes remaining. And for Kayla Minton, she now has 61 career goals as a Panther, and make that now 78 career points. And not far off cracking the Florida Tech top 10, and not far off 100 career points. You mentioned Kayla Minton with 61 career goals. She is 9 behind Rachel Johnson for the 10th spot on the Florida Tech all-time top 10. Kayla, of course, a second-team all-conference selection herself last year, along with Caroline McLeod and Kaylee O'Brien, who made the first team. 5 minutes remaining in this one as it goes to Bryn Nestor, the sophomore from Salisbury, Maryland. Nestor, and that's going to be an errant pass that goes out of bounds. We're going to see who that went. I believe that was Georgia Glowacki, a junior from Seal Beach, California, product of the very famous Mater Dei program. If you know about Mater Dei, you probably know about football. They've been a power pretty much my whole life. Emily Harris plays this over to Mackenzie Smith, over there on the far right side, over towards the stands. And into the middle it goes for Caroline Finn. Away we go. Over for Angelo. Plenty of room to run here. Thought about it. Plays it for Craig on the left. Minton cutting in front of the goal against Walling, who has been tremendous tonight. Walling with 6 saves. Emily Harris with 8. This is Boyle with 50 to shoot. Cutting inside. Lost possession. It's going to be knocked into the air. Good control by Boyle. Feeding Millie Hurd here. Absorbing plenty of contact there in the area. No call. Trying to fight her way through. She gets dispossessed. And that is going to be one. I believe that was Gallinson. Boy, and withstood a good challenge there from Emma Angelo. And Minton is pressing Walling behind the net. Might have a chance. Couldn't quite bring it in. And the Spartans are basically just playing field hockey with it right now. Just kind of rolling it around. It'll be Panther ball with 3:33 remaining. Skaronski over for Jillian Craig. They bring it back down to the center as the Panthers get a fresh 90. This is Boyle. Boyle for Jillian Craig. And this is Minton. It's usually not that far out. Kayla making the most of it anyway. She'll absorb contact and fight through. And her pass, I think, got deflected as she got rid of it. Craig able to track it down with 55 on the clock. Back over it goes for Emma Angelo, who's seen plenty of playing time here in the second half. 2:47 to play. Angelo, basically at the top of the area. She'll fire. The shot was high. Withstood a hit as she let it go. Panthers do keep possession with 35 to shoot. Gab Skaronski, who scored maybe the best goal of the night for the Panthers' third. So it matched the Panthers' season low in goals scored, which happened against Flagler on opening night. Oh, Finn had a look there and I think got dispossessed. And Tampa will play this ahead and they'll clear this easily. It goes ahead to Sarah Hinkle. O'Brien trying to chase her. Kylie Morris will come to play her up, and that's going to play plenty of room here. And a goal for O'Neill Gallinson. The senior from Sudbury, Massachusetts, will make it 18-6 with 2:04 remaining. As that will be O'Neill Gallinson's first goal of the season. If I'm saying correct, that's going to be Nestor with the goal. And for Bryn Nestor, that is her 4th of the season. By the way, with Sarah Hinkle's hat trick or 4 goals tonight, she is now 1 off of the SSC lead. She trails St. Leo's Fiona McLaughlin by 1. The shot clock's turned off. We're inside the final 90 seconds of this one. And I said this was the fewest goals Florida Tech had scored since opening night against Flagler, and this is an identical scoreline to that opening night when Flagler won 18-6. But the Panthers then proceeded to win 8 of their next 9 after that. And hopefully this result has a similar spark as we're inside the final minute. It will be Panther ball as Chris plays this over to Jenny Boyle. Florida Tech about 6 minutes in, we're tied at 2. And then Tampa went on the run from there as Jillian Craig will pick up her second of the night. And that should just about wrap it up. That'll make it 18-7 Tampa as we're inside the final 30 seconds. And by the time they get back to the draw, that'll be time up. So Jillian Craig will put it in for her 21st goal of the season. And that will put her into a tie for second with Sophia Ciccoloni for most goals on the team. As the final 10 seconds tick off, that will do it. Tampa will improve to 9-2 on the campaign with a thoroughly dominant 18-7 victory tonight here at Rick Stotler Field. Let's take a look at the final stats for this one. The Spartans outshot the Panthers 33-21, 26-13 in terms of shots on goal. Emily Harris with 8 saves. Alex Walling made 6 for Tampa. The Spartans won the draw control battle 16-12, and that's not something we've said a lot about Florida Tech this year. Matter of fact, I think that might be the first time this year that they have lost the draw control battle. Panthers committed 18 fouls on the night to just 9 for Tampa. Spartans were 5 of 10 from the free position. Florida Tech were 3 of 4. Panthers were 8 for 10 on the clearances. Tampa 14 of 16. Tampa turned it over 12 times. Florida Tech caused 6 of those. The Panthers turned it over 9 times. Tampa caused 5 of those. Looking at the scoring sheet for Tampa in this one. Sarah Hinkle with a 6-point game, including 4 goals. CeCe Colombo had a 5-point game, including the hat trick. Emma McLaughlin had the hat trick. Lizzie Pierpont with 2 goals. Gia Colombo scored a goal. Allie Peebles had an assist. Sophie Risk had a first-quarter hat trick. McKelsey Montgomery and O'Neill Gallinson with a goal each. For Florida Tech, Jenny Boyle with a hat trick. Jillian Craig had a 3-point game, including 2 goals. Goals as well for Kayla Minton and Gab Skaronski. And Emma Angelo provided an assist as well. Leading on the draw controls tonight was Lizzie Christ with 5. The leading cause turnovers, Kaylee O'Brien had 3 of those. And in terms of ground balls, Jenny Boyle had 3. We mentioned Tampa are now 9-2 here in the 2023 season. Likely to move up the polls again. They'll be in action on Friday at St. Leo. We mentioned for the Panthers, they'll be back in action next Saturday at 1 p.m. against Embry-Riddle up in Daytona. We'll have watch links for that one as well on FloridaTechSports.com. Then they go to Palm Beach Atlantic on Wednesday, April 5th. We'll have watch links for that one as well. Our next broadcast of Panther Women's Lacrosse will be on Saturday, April the 8th at 10 a.m. when the Panthers host St. Leo. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast despite the outcome. My name is Jerry Durney, signing off from Rick Stotler Field at the FW Olin Sports Complex on the campus of Florida Tech, where once again your final score tonight was Tampa 18, Florida Tech 7. You've been watching Florida Tech Panther Women's Lacrosse on the Florida Tech Digital Network, a presentation of the SSC Digital Network. Good night from Melbourne, and we'll talk to you.